Okay. So the topic of our presentation is how Python will rule the industry. A little bit introduction about myself. My name is Musaddiq Mansoor. I am basically doing my PhD from FAST Peshawar, and my specialization is in machine learning. Regarding my experience, I have 5 years of industry experience of working as software engineer in different national and international organizations. And I have 5 years of teaching experience of working as lecturer in Institute of Management Sciences. So what is a computer system? Computer system is basically a combination of two parts or a two components. One is software, one is hardware. Software is the part which makes the hardware work. Hardware is basically just the physical components which stand alone exist, which we can see, which we can feel, or which we can touch. Software is the part which enables them for us to work. Like if we want the keyboard, if we want the camera, we will have to install their driver. Or like if we want to have some work on the computer, what we're going to do, we are going to install a operating system. So operating system helps us in making the hardware work. So we will going to focus on software part. How are these softwares developed? Like when we see different kind of software, when we see games, when we see mobile application, when we see website, the question arises in our mind, how are these developed? So these are developed using programming languages. There are different types of programming languages which we are going to discuss, but we'll be focusing on Python. So what is a language? Language is basically a combination communication between two or more entities. In terms of computer, the entities are humans and computers. In terms of our daily life, basically we are people. We communicate with one another. We communicate with the help of natural language. But when we are to communicate with computer, we have to take the help of computer languages. There are different kinds of computer languages. Computers are developed by humans. It works according to our instruction. Like we have to decide, we have to give instructions to computer that how you are going to react. Like if we are making a calculator, by clicking on the plus button, it adds two numbers. So how it adds two number? Basically, we are giving the instructions to add two numbers. As a computer cannot understand our natural language, so we have to make use of computer languages. There are different types of computer languages: C, C++, Java, C Sharp, and Fortran. There are two types of computer languages. One is low level language, one is high level language. Low level language is basically the language of zeros and ones. It is also known as binary language because it contains only two numbers, zeros and ones. It is close to computers, understandable by computers, and it is very hard for humans to understand these type of languages. High level languages are very close to natural language. Instructions are written using words like natural languages. Like if we have to print something, we use a print command. If we have to take some input from the user, we use input command. Conditions contains if, else, for. So it is very easy to us to understand these words, and it is not possible for computer to interpret them directly. So the computer takes help of interpreter or compiler, which converts this code, and then we can use it. So why we are focusing on Python? Python is the world's fastest growing and most popular language. It is not only for software engineers, but Python can be used by data analysts, mathematicians, scientists, accountants, and it is a very friendly language. Basically, for other languages like C, C Sharp, Java, you need to have some programming background. You need to have some basics of programs. Here in Python, you don't have to be that much programming background. You can start without having a programming background because it is very easy to manage, or it is very easy to use Python. There are a lot of different libraries available, lot of support available for Python. So even if you don't have a computer background, you can easily work on Python. different applications of Python. We have web development, we have scientific and numerical applications, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is the core of Python. Most of the focus of Python is basically on machine learning and artificial intelligence applications. Enterprise level business applications for education programs, we can use it for developing a content management system, and we can use it to develop a learning management system. And we can use it for web scraping application. Web scraping is basically if we want to make some scrapers to get the data from the website. Like if we are creating a website for hotels, we want to get data from different hotel websites. So we'll have to create a web scraper, image processing and graphic design applications. All this, whatever we studied the applications, these applications can also be developed in other programming languages. So then what is so much great about Python? Why we are focusing only on Python? The biggest reason is simplicity. It has a less time. You can develop the code in less time, and it takes less line of code. Like I have given an example here. Like if we take hello world, and we want to extract the first three characters of the hello world. In C sharp, we have to write like string dot substring. In JavaScript, we have to write like string dot substring. And in Python, what we are going to do, we are just going to write string 0,3, and it will extract the first three characters for the from the hello world. So it is simple. It has few line of codes. It has lot of support available. It has lot of library available. We don't have to work on everything. Libraries are there. We just need to know which libraries to use for our problem. So if you know the libraries, then it is going to be easier for you to use Python for your applications. Python is easy to learn. It has a great community, huge community. Everyone is working, everyone is contributing day by day. It is flexible, it is scalable, it has a huge library collection, graphic and visualization tools are available. And these are some of the best graphic and visualization tools which are not available in any other languages. Like if any of you have used Matplotlib or Seaborn, these libraries can create high level best graphs quality. And extended pack of analytics tools like pandas and different libraries are available, which can be used for different types of data analysis or data analytics. Python, a little history about Python. Python was created in 1989 by Guido van Rossum. It is created as a scripting language for administrative tasks. It was based on all basic code. All basic code is basically a higher level of basic language which was developed as an interactive programming language. And Modular 3 is basically an extension of Modular 2, which is integrating object-oriented programming and different high-level complex programming into your programming language. It is named after comic troupe Python. It was released publicly in 1991. Python community is growing day by day. Every day, people are working in Python. Like in my in my industry career, in 5 years, I was working on PHP, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. But when I came to into my academic and I started working on my PhD problem, so for that I had to switch to Python. I developed whole my research problem into Python. There are different modules available. Why modules help us? What is the module? Module is basically reusable piece of software, can be written by any Python developer, extend Python capabilities. Python website, all the official information is available on python.org. You can get all the Python official release and every information regarding Python on the Python official website. Python was designed to be portable and extensible. What do you mean by portable? Portable means if we are developing something on Windows and now we want to run it on a different operating system like Linux, Unix, or Mac OS. So it should be portable enough so that it can be working on different operating systems. And the syntax and design promote good programming practices and rapid development times. The syntax is simple, and it is powerful enough to attract different professionals. Now we are talking about syntax. So what is basically syntax? Syntax is basically the arrangement of the words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language. Like for English, you have subject, verb, object. So this is basically a syntax. So the structure of statements in computer programming language is known as syntax. How you going to write the syntax, how are you going to start, how you're going to end your statement. So that is basically syntax. So if we want to use Python, there are a couple of tools available which you can use for Python. One is Anaconda and the second one is Google Colab. I'm going to show you practically as well. Like this is Google Colab, colab.research.google.com. If you come here, you can work here in Colab. You can come here, file, and you can create a new notebook. This file will be going to save in your Google Drive, so you don't have to worry about if you are not finding the file. The file will be saved in your Google Drive in Colab notebooks. Here you can rename the file. You can, like, I am going to rename here. Here you can write some statements. Now, if you want to download this file, or if you want to download another version, this you are seeing it will be working IPYNB. This is basically the extension of Python notebook. But if you want it in Python format, you can also download it from, you can come to download IPYNB. This will be the notebook file, and download PY. What is the difference between notebook and a simple Python file? In simple Python file, you have to run the Python, you have to interpret it, you have to run the compiler first, and then run the Python file. And the notebook gives you advantage, then you can directly run your code and you can see the output, whether your program is working or not. You don't need to go into complexity. So people prefer, or the beginners prefer, to use notebooks. So this was one of the tools, Google Colab, and we have one another tool known as Anaconda. If you install Anaconda, you can see here Jupyter Notebook. You can click here on launch. You can click here on new Python 3. So it is also creating a notebook for you. You can save it here, you can download, you can save as in different locations. So these are the two tools which you can use. One is Anaconda, one is Google Colab. If you are a beginner, I will prefer you using Anaconda, because it has it has a desktop version, and it has great tutorial available for the demo purposes. So you can use Anaconda as well. It is free. You can easily install. Environment is simple. Installation is not as complex as if you are going to install Node.js or any other software. It is a simple exe file you can download on Windows, and you can simply run the executable file, and you will have the Anaconda distribution in your computer. If you don't want to install it, you can simply go to Google Colab. Colab saves your all the files on your Google Drive, and it has a great interface, and it contains most of the libraries. You don't need to install the libraries for yourself. It has most of the libraries available. So now a little bit about, we have seen different applications like web application, machine learning. So we are going to see some of the libraries which can help us fast track our development. Like web development libraries, there are the most commonly used is Django. There are other libraries as well available, Flask, Pyramid. So what is the difference between these libraries? Flask is basically for small projects. It is a simple library if you want to develop some small applications, web applications. So you are going to use Flask. But if you are going to develop a high level web applications, then you should go for Django or Pyramid. The difference between Django and Pyramid is that Django gives you support of ORM. ORM is basically an object relation mapper which is used in database design and database queries. Pyramid gives you the facility to run different kinds of, like you can change the URLs, you can have different extensions available, you can do different customization. If you want to have different customizations, then I would recommend you using Pyramid. But if you are following a traditional web development and developing a high level web application, then Django will be the right framework for you. There are a couple of other as well, Web2py and Bottle. Web2py is also a rapid development of fast, scalable, and secure and portable database-driven web application. It is also in the category of Django and Pyramid. And Bottle is just like Flask. It is used mainly for the simple web application. So this was just about web development libraries. Moving on, if we want to develop a game with the help of Python, there are two libraries available. One is Pygame, one is PyGL. Pygame is basically dependent, or basically it is built on SGL. It's a basically software direct media layer library which is used for game development. But if you change the version, like currently we have Python 3, and if you start working in Python 4, so you will have to reprogram it, you will have to recompile it. So there is an issue when the version changes. But PyGelot is a library which is based on OpenGL, and you can simply use this uh, even if you are changing, if you are working in Python 3 and Python 4 comes, so you don't have to worry about that. It will work on that as well. Stats, if you are statistician and you want to work different stats, if you are a data scientist and you want to do different kind of stats operations, so some of the libraries available for you are linear regression of SciPy, polyfit of NumPy, OLS of stats model, and linear regression of scikit-learn. These are the libraries which perform detailed statistical operations. So if you are interested in data science and you want to perform some stats operations, so you can use these libraries. If you are interested in machine learning, there are tons of libraries, but I choose two. One is Keras, one is PyTorch. Keras is a high level API or a high level development tool, and PyTorch is basically a low level. In PyTorch, you have to manually code many things. In Keras, many things are available, but the major difference is that Keras is a bit slow. And as it is slow than PyTorch, so if you have a large data set, you won't be able to work efficiently on Keras. So if you have a small data set, if you have a problem which contains a small data set, then you should focus on Keras. But if you have a problem that contains large data set, like I was working on proteins. So proteins, we have quite a large list, like we have 70,000 proteins, human proteins only. So I use PyTorch in my PhD problem. Computer vision, if you are going to work with images, there are different libraries available. The most commonly used are OpenCV and scikit-image. If we are going to make some graphs from the Python, then there are many libraries, but the most commonly used are Matplotlib, Seaborn, and ggplot2. Matplotlib and Seaborn are the most commonly used, and they have a detailed graphs. You can create any kind of graphs almost in Matplotlib or Seaborn. So these are most commonly used, and these are very simple to use. Medical libraries, like if you want to work on bioinformatics or you want to work on medical images, some of the coding has been pre-built. If you use PyGeno is basically for bioinformatics. Or if you have some medical images, you want to detect cancer, no cancer, you want to detect mouse, no get different kind of diseases. For that, you can use MatPy libraries. Everything is built in, you just have to load the images, perform relevant operations, and you will have your solution. So you don't have to code from start. If you know the right libraries, you will easily get help from their documentation. Bioinformatics, we have ProDY and PYSB. Both are used for bioinformatics operations, and if you are going to work in medical side, these libraries will be going to help you out. So some of the interesting projects which I have included for you. The first project is Like if we want to convert our image into a cartoon, like you have seen in Facebook, there was an application. Uh, you give it your image and it converted into a cartoon. So I'm going to explain a bit of this from the link. So what does it uses? This library uses OpenCV. Basically, you have to first install the OpenCV package, which is used for computer vision or images. So with the help of OpenCV, you can easily use this package. What does it do? If you give it an image, it will translate or it will try to make a cartoon image for you. These are the kind of libraries. This is a pre-built. You give it, you can install it on your computer. You give it your image, and it will convert it into a cartoon image. So these are the different libraries which are going to use, like we have CV2, EasyGUI, NumPy, Imagio, Matplotlib, OS. So here some applications, some libraries which you are going to import, and then you are going to use this code. The code is available. You can download the code, you can install the code, and you can use the code. The install explanation for each of the line is given here. You can see the code explanation, and in the end, you will see where if you give it an image, it will simply convert it to a cartoon image for you. The next project is for recognizing handwritten character recognition with the help of neural network. Neural network is one of the machine learning important aspect. Machine learning have different algorithms, but currently the top trending algorithms in machine learning are neural networks. So if you have an understanding of neural network, you can do amazing work in text, natural language processing. You can do image processing with the help of neural network. So the required frameworks for this is going to be NumPy, OpenCV, CV2. CV2 is basically an advanced version of OpenCV. You are going to require Keras, TensorFlow, Matplotlib, and Pandas. Pandas is basically a data visualization, analysis library, which is used for data analysis. So the most important thing in machine learning problem is having the data set. If you are going to solve a problem, the first thing you should be looking at is if you have the relevant data set available. Because if for any data analysis or any machine learning project, you need data set, and data set that in large quantity. Like here, the data set contains almost 3,72,450 images of all the alphabet. So if you have this kind of library, huge library, then it will be easier for machine learning to work on it. The project code is available. You can download the project code and you can try to run it. So this project, what it does, if you give a written image, it will try to predict which alphabet you are going to focus on or which alphabet you are writing on. So like here, if you see the image is like B, so it predicted B. Then we have sign language. For sign language, what we are going to do, we are going to have libraries like Python, IDE, NumPy, OpenCV, Keras. So you are going to see here that some of the libraries are common. Like mostly we are going to use NumPy, OpenCV, Keras, TensorFlow. If you are using images, if your problem contains images, everything will be mostly sorted out with the help of OpenCV. You need to have OpenCV. You see, the first thing, if you don't have the data set, what you are going to do, you will have to create a data set for, like if you want to detect different signs here, if you see the picture, like if we want to detect the sign 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to detect this symbol, what we are going to do, we are going to take the pictures. We are going to have to create a data set for solving this kind of problem. So the first thing you need to focus on is to have a data set to solve your problem. In Python, most of the projects are machine learning based, and for the machine learning, you need to have data sets, and data set should be in the large quantity. Another project is protein function prediction. Like this one is created by me. I worked on this. This is my research paper, and the code is available. I have given the code as well. What I did was I tried to predict different functions of the protein. Like proteins, there are 70,000 proteins, and for the 70,000 proteins, we have different kind of functions, but the function classes are limited. So I designed a framework which is used to predict the proteins with the help of uh, limited data. So what I used basically PyTorch. So you have to be very careful when you are using machine learning libraries, that whether you are going to use Keras, TensorFlow, PyTorch. So you have to have the knowledge that if your data set is limited, you are going to use Keras or PyTorch. If your data set is more, then which library is going to help you. If you are working on images, which kind of library you need. If you are working on web development, which kind of library you are going to use. And if you are making a full-fledged web application or only a small API, so you need to have the basic understanding of these libraries, so in order to help you fast track your development. So this was just a little introduction about Python libraries, some of the interesting projects. So if you have any questions now.